Hi, Jim. Just checking.
Indio. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call this October 19th, 2021 Community Services Commission meeting to order. Could I have Commissioner Armin Ordian lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Thank you, Commissioner Ordian. Item number 4, Commissioner comments. I'll start with Vice Chairperson Kimberly Barraza.
We have to do roll call.
Do it already. Item number 3, roll call.
Chairperson Megan Scarborough Echo,
Present.
Vice Chairperson Kimberly Barraza,
Present.
Commissioner Armin Ordian,
Present.
Commissioner Kevin Wilcoxen, Commissioner Ronald Phillips Martinez,
And now moving on to item number 4, Vice Person Kimberly Barraza.
Thank you, Chairperson. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I know some of you have to be here. Just kidding, but still, thank you for being here, joining us today. It's nice to be back in person. Glad that everybody's doing well. Again, nice to see you all. I do want to comment on the National Night Out hosted by the Indio Police Department. I want to commend them. They did a great job. I was able to attend. It's been the best one that I've been to in the last, maybe 4 or 5 years. I was able to bring my children. My son felt like he owned the place. He was all over, going to every booth. And so I enjoyed that, right? Like that's what it's about, having our families come out. I brought my daughter with me. She was able to help me. I had a booth there for work. So she, 15 now, she's able to volunteer. She brought a friend over. They got food. They went around the booth, get information. Army, sheriffs, and all the other organizations as well as the Indio Police Department. I also want to thank those sponsors and especially the Home Depot. They donated a grill to be raffled out. So that was really nice of them, and also the other sponsors for food and drinks. If you missed it, well, you missed it. If you weren't there, you missed it. It was a really good event. I do invite you to come out next year or other city hosted events because they're really good. And especially this one, it was, family oriented and you can see the people were having a good time being out there. That concludes my comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chairperson. Commissioner Ordian.
Good evening, everyone. It's nice to see you in person. It's kind of like a first time. I was sharing that if I would see you outside, I would recognize you because we used to see each other on Zoom, but it's really, I'm happy and an honor to be here. I haven't attended that this year, but I'm planning to do next year. And I just, want to welcome everyone and happy to see everybody is healthy, and I wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Ordian. I would just like to have a short comment that I think our Indio Police Department is doing a great job. My community had a little issue towards the end of last month, and Chief Tully and the rest of his department couldn't have been better with responding and emails and following up. So I would really just like to commend them on the job that they're doing in the city of Indio. And we'll move on to item number 5, public comment. This is the time set aside for public comment. I think we do have one request to speak. Mr. Michael Zamudio.
I just want to make a couple of comments. Some are good and some are not so good. First of all, when I was driving over, I went down Miles Avenue and the soccer park is being utilized. Thank you for getting those nets up. It's really, it was amazing to see maybe 150 people out there, kids, parents. They're out there playing. It's good to see that. A couple of weeks ago, I went to on Miles, the museum with my grandsons, my two grandsons, and we were there for a while, and then we headed over to Miles Park. Well, as we're walking towards the kind of like towards the bathroom area, there were some syringes that were on the ground. Just scared the hell out of me, just completely scare me. So I just want to bring that up because there's a lot of kids that are out there, and I didn't like what I saw. The other thing is I went over to the Burr Street Park, and we were going to get off and shoot some baskets, and I noticed there's no restrooms there or anything. I mean, that to me is just a waste of space. They can't, it's not being, people in that community deserve better. They need a restroom, a working restroom that needs to be put up there. The King Street Medium, I'm not too happy with Excel and their services, to be quite honest. That was just done a year ago or so, or not too long ago, but it's really terrible. Grass is coming up through the rocks. The lantana is taking over the palms. It's terrible. They do a terrible job. Also, the one on Jackson Street where the art piece is at, the shrubbery is hanging over the curbs. Hasn't been taken care of. It just looks terrible. We need to get a company that does the job and does it right. Either that or the supervision. I've talked with Paul Stallman many times. He's come through for me, and he's fixed situations, and I appreciate it. Paul, you're doing a great job, and I just applaud you. But there's some things that are just not being done right. The basins, especially the one on Violet Street, it's terrible. It's just absolutely terrible. You go over there and you look at it, it's just terrible. I don't, there's so much that's going on there. Some of the other parks are great. I mean, they're beautiful. Jackson Street, nice park, beautiful park. Jackson Park, beautiful park. Some of these other ones are not. So I'm real concerned. I'm really concerned about what's happening with our landscaping in this community. I'm trying to go forward and not go backwards. And I hope that the city of Indio is thinking on those same lines. I know my time is up, and I have a lot more to say, but just thank you. And I hope something gets done about some of these issues. One other thing real quick, the Davis Field. I want to know why the gates are locked. That's a public park. Why do we not have access to them? Those are my comments. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Zamudio. Paul, do you have any comments? Okay. Anybody? Commissioners, Vice Chairperson? No? Okay. We'll move on to item number 6, approval of minutes.
I move to have for the approval of minutes of our September 21st, 2021 minutes.
The voting's not up yet. On your screen now. Just by roll call.
Chairperson Megan Scarborough Echo,
Aye.
Vice Chairperson Kimberly Barraza,
Aye.
Commissioner Armin Ordian.
Aye.
The minutes are approved. Item number 7, department updates. I will start with Commissioner Ordian on parks and open spaces.
Thank you. Last couple of months ago, I mentioned there was a space on 42nd and Jackson between Sandhurst Cove and there's, I believe you mentioned that this belongs to the water department. So just want to know if there's any updates on that. But also there is another small section between Indio Muni Golf Course and the Sandhurst. There's a small area which is really dusty. And that would be nice. I don't know who this belongs to this area, but that's another open space. It would be nice to have maybe some for family gathering. We have a lot of families. That little area grown a lot lately, and we have many young kids, young families over there. And it looks like besides the shopping center, we need to have some parks, for family can take their kids and be there. So that would be great. Perfect idea. The location to transform into the parks, recreational park for the families. And that's basically another, and also the other one, what I mentioned earlier. So we want to know if there's any plans to build something on that area, which is after Sandhurst Cove. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Ordian. Vice Chairperson Barasa.
So it's exciting to see that we now are able to have events, in-person events, right? And so this one is full of excitement. We do have a few events I'll go over. And these are events hosted by the city and then also some hosted by community organizations. We have on the 22nd, Desert Recreation District is hosting Movies at the Park. That's going to be at their Indio Community Center on Clinton. That's going to be at 6 p.m. If I'm not mistaken, I think they're showing Cruella. I'm not sure if you're interested. You can go on their Facebook or website. Also, our library will be having a fall festival. That's going to be on October 23rd. That's from 3 to 5 p.m. there at the library here across from City Hall. The Desert Recreation District will also be having a Halloween carnival that's going to be there at the park behind their community center. That's going to be on October 30th from 1 through 6. And then City of Indio, we are hosting what we're calling Indio's Streets Are Treats here on Miles, where the Indio food truck is. I'm in that area. That's going to be on Saturday, October 30th from 4 through 8 p.m. The city will be hosting, or it's my understanding that we'll be hosting a community event once a month on a Saturday. So keep an eye out on those events, or I'll be telling you more about them as we move forward. Then another big one, or a big one that we're having, it's going to be the 6th annual Indio Barbecue Fest that's being hosted by the Greater Coachella Chamber of Commerce and the City of Indio. That's going to be on November 6th from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the lights at the Indio Golf Course. If you do have or want any more information, I believe that the chamber would be the place to ask. Go ahead and join that. It's I've been able to assist a few times, but I'm excited for this one, and I can't believe it's already the 6th one. So that's, I'm like, really? Time does fly. I believe those are all the events as of now. I'm sure that if I missed any, Jim will update us on those. But thank you, Chairperson. That concludes my update.
Thank you, Vice Chairperson. And I have the lights at the Indio Golf Course, and they are still reseeding, and I believe they opened on the 28th. Is that correct? Yes. But the grass is coming in good, so I'm excited to see all the foot traffic that we will have in the next few weeks. And I think that we may do even better than we were doing during the pandemic, just because now I think a lot of people are coming out from other areas and really utilizing the golf course. So I'm interested to see how even better it'll do this season. All right, we'll move on to item number 8, park updates. And I will start with Vice Chairperson Barasa.
Thank you, Chairperson. As you all know, I cover 2 parks which are Dr. Carrion and South Jackson Park. We are seeing some construction being done on Dr. Carrion. It's exciting to drive by there to see, those art pieces coming in. Can't wait to go ahead and have I don't know, maybe a ribbon cutting or a little event for that to celebrate that. It's a great addition to our community there at the John Nobles area, and also across the street from Dr. Carrion. Again, I have an 8-year-old, and we drove by the other day and he almost wanted to jump off the car. He noticed that there was some, buffet there at the park. He's like, let's go. And so I promised him that we will be visiting parks once a week. And so if we miss one, or if he notices that it's close to Friday or the weekend, he's like, we haven't been to the park, let's go. And so that's nice. He's like my 0.1 of the commission. He's like our little extra. South Jackson Park's looking good. We do see some, I've been able to see, I saw some families out there, not as busy as our other parks. I know that it's not the most beautiful parks, right? Even I personally choose sometimes to go visit some other parks that are not as close to home, just because for, my son chooses them. And so I can understand if he's, he's not that attracted to these parks. I can't imagine why our families are not going out there. Like our resident mentioned during public comments, and we do have parks that don't have restrooms. We have parks, we're trying to keep our families safe, and we don't have any anywhere for them to wash their hands. We don't have anywhere, like, if, for example, my 8-year-old, if he needs to go potty, like that would end our visit to the park. So again, I want to resonate on our residents' comments and some things that we've been saying all along. Well, I've been saying all along since I joined the commission is to continue encouraging our council to move in on improving our parks. That includes shades, having clean parks, having restrooms, safe areas for them. Light, I know that when the time changes, all of a sudden our parks get super dark. And I've heard concerns from our residents that the parks are just too dark, and we're talking about it being 6 p.m. or, super early, where now the weather's better, people can go out and use our parks, go for a walk, but then because the lights don't come on time, they can't. So, it's a great opportunity, or for me, I'll continue advocating on those issues when it comes to parks. I'm also excited to see how District Recreation will be taking over and see, they've been working on parks for so long, and see how they can help us with improving our parks for our residents. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chairperson. Commissioner Ordian.
Thank you. I'm overseeing the 3 parks, Yaga, Shield, and North Jackson Park. What's the purpose of having a park? I know we are busy whole week, working, it's stressful, and there's a weekend comes, you want to have your family go to the park, and you can connect with your family, with your loved ones. So it's really important. It's very important to have a park, and we need to make sure the parks are maintained well. So Jackson Park is looking great. And it was interesting, the gentleman earlier mentioned about the issues. So we haven't seen any issues over there. What I like about the Jackson Park is there's a sport activities over there, which brings a lot of teenagers, and they actually can spend time and play over there. And again, this is a way when you can reconnect with your family, with your loved ones. So it's important. My son, he loves that park. He always asks me to take him to the park so he can play. Tennis court is really great. So this is, the park is looking great. I haven't seen any issues over there, anything. It's not that busy. We don't have many people. On the weekends, you can send some families. Again, weather is getting better. We're going to have probably see more and more people. Shield Park have his own character. It's a little bit different. And I can see there's more families with young kids, because there's a playground for kids. They can actually be there. It's a beautiful, nice park. And again, everything is fine. I haven't seen any issues over there. And again, the only issue is we don't see many attendees over there. So probably something we have to come up with, create some events, drag more people to the park. Shield Park is the only one that it's nice, it's beautiful, but we don't really see many people over there. And we discussed before maybe of location or something, but there's also looking. It's nice park. So I think we need to support. We need to get together instead of going and do shopping, spend some money, take your family, go to parks. That's probably the best way to do. Just enjoy your family. And it's weather is beautiful. It's nice. It's nice to be there. That would be all. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Ordian. I suppose that I myself have maybe two of the easier parks to look after, being Kauai and Patton, because I get a lot of foot traffic at both parks, particularly Patton Park. Lots of kids utilizing the tennis courts at all hours of the day, especially before they were back in school in person, but it didn't matter how hot it was. And Patton Park has bathrooms, so that's also very attractive for people that take their children over there. But even for Kauai, I mean, it's such a huge open space. It's well maintained. We're on during the summer. So I just hear a lot of positive things at both of my parks, especially with all the building there has been in those areas, that with all the families, they have two great parks to use. So I know that those two parks are very well maintained by the city. And I don't have really any complaints about it from residents or from myself. So I guess maybe we do need to focus on some other parks that maybe don't get the same attention as those two. And I will move on to item number 9, updates. Jim?
Thank you very much, Chairperson. I do have an update underneath my update to say parks. So I'm going to refer first to our Desert Recreation District that Kimberly, you had talked to a second ago and has a presentation. And this is Troy Strange. Come on up.
Can you hear me now? All right, good. All right, as Jim stated, I'm Troy Strange, and chairperson, vice chairperson, and commissioner. Appreciate you allowing me to present to you this evening in regards to Desert Recreation District and the services that we provide. I do have a PowerPoint. There it is. All right. And so basically you want to provide your background on a variety of partnerships and the services that we offer throughout the Valley and working with other governmental agencies and cities to provide recreational services. How do I move this? There we go. All right, got it. Desert Recreation District is the largest recreation district in the state of California. It serves over 385,000 residents here in the Valley, and it covers over 1,800 square miles. We have 5 divisions that are represented by 5 different board members or board of directors. Division 1 is represented by Ms. Sylvia Paz, and the areas that she served is Thermal, Mecca, Oasis, North Shore, Vista Rosa, Indio, Thousand Palms, and La Quinta. Area 2 or District 2 is represented by Mr. Rudy Gutierrez, and the areas he served is Coachella, Indio, and Indio Hills. And Division 3 is represented by Jonathan Becerra, and he serves the city of Indio. Division 4 is represented by Rudy Acosta, and he serves the city of Palm Desert, Indian Wells, and Bermuda Dunes. And lastly, Division 5 is represented by Laura McGalliard, and she serves the city of Palm Desert, Rancho Mirage, and Thousand Palms. Okay, that's right. All right. At the district, we employ 57 full-time and up to 250 part-time and seasonal members that operate facilities, programs, and activities and serve more than 1 million guests annually. Our mission statement is to enrich the quality of life for Coachella Valley residents by acquiring, developing, operating, and maintaining a community focused on parks, and recreation system and preserving it for future generations. Our vision statement, through a community collaborative approach, Desert Recreation District will be the regional provider of premier parks and recreation services in the Coachella Valley, ensuring all residents have equitable and barrier-free opportunities that contribute to the overall wellness of our communities. And our values spell out means doing it right. And it's respect, integrity, teamwork, and excellence. So the district, we operate more than 30 parks and recreational facilities throughout the valley, from pocket parks to recreation centers and most everything in between. Some are owned by the district and others are owned by the county and/or cities. As you can see, the various parks that we have throughout the valley and facilities, community centers and park systems and pools. In order for the district to maximize its effectiveness, we partner with most all of the local governments in the valley in one way or another. From the county of Riverside, we partner with them in issuing grant applications through the state, Prop 68 and the various parks in which we received funding for. We recently built Oasis Park that we completed and had a grand opening on September 30th. Is that correct? No, it's October 1st. Yeah, October 1st, I'm sorry. But we had a grand opening in which we had a good turnout. And that's a park that was built in a community that did not have a park system or park. We also installed a water line to provide domestic water for that community. So those are the things that the district does. And we've been in the East Valley where we worked in, built the park in North Shore a few years ago. And so we're continuing to build parks in areas that's most needed and serving those communities. All right. So in the city of Palm Desert, we manage and operate 2 city-owned community centers. We provide park reservation management. We also provide park supervision and custodial services. We partner and we own and operate a golf course. We also sell Desert Willow resident cards in which we allow them to get discounts on golf and other apparel and accommodations at Desert Willow. In the city of Coachella, we operate the city pool. We provide programs for the community center. We partner on various community events, and we also provide maintenance for a landscape and lighting district in the community of Placitas de La Paz. In the city of La Quinta, we operate the city pool. We operate and program for a district community center, the Desert Recreation District Community Center. We also partner on community events, and we're currently working with not only the city of La Quinta, but with various jurisdictions to save the Salton Sea. They're back and forth with CV Water District in terms of to be able to use that as a recreational facility because of some issue with this organism called quagmire. And so there's some concern that the pool or the lake can get infested with those, and it could cause damage to the land underneath, farmland, and so on and so forth. So we're working to come up with a remedy and solution to make them comfortable with providing recreational services and amenities at that particular location. And the district is also engaged in various types of agreements with different municipalities, nonprofits, vendors, so on and so forth. And that's contract for services in which we manage and operate facilities, provide services there, a memorandums of understanding, joint use agreements, license agreements with vendors that provide workout software that sometimes you go in and you see the videos, those type of license agreements to show movies in the parks, and so on and so forth. We also have lease agreements with various cities, and municipalities, and joint powers authority. We currently have a joint powers authority with the Coachella Valley Mountain Conservancy, in which we provide programming for their spaces. We also manage some of the conservancy land, and manage capital projects for them. And lastly, what you all wanted to hear, the services that we could provide for the city of Indio. One of the services that we've talked with staff in terms of how do we partner, what does that look like, and what can we provide to assist the city of Indio with their parks and recreational services. One is park facility, reservation management, routine park maintenance and custodial services, park programming, park capital project management, programming of city facilities such as the teen center, and support for staff, council, and the commission. So this concludes my presentation, and I am available for any questions you may have.
Thank you, Troy. Does anybody have any questions, comments? Kimberly?
Thank you. Once again, Troy, thank you for the presentation. It's very helpful. Understanding, I mean, those that are familiar with what Desert Recreation does, I mean, we kind of get it, right? But there's a lot of our residents that don't, or actually don't know the distinction between one or the other.
Right.
So, I mean, I'm all for it to, you know, the potential of you guys taking over of what you mentioned on your last slide. Can you elaborate a little bit about what you mean with the park capital project management?
So for instance, when how we label a capital project is in the district, it's anything over $5,000. So say for instance, we're managing the teen center, the air conditioning unit goes out and it needs to be replaced. So we could do that, or the city has its public works department who can change that out. Or if it's coming in and doing a renovation or constructing a new facility, a new park. So when I say capital park projects, that means that we go in and we manage or help construct anything that's over a certain dollar amount.
Okay, so anything over 5,000?
Yes, in our current system. Others may be different. Their dollar value may be a little higher, but for us, it's what we call major projects.
Okay.
Yeah.
Through my role with the Office of Assemblymember Eduardo Garcia, I've seen Desert Recreation District in action. I've seen how, I mean, aggressive in the best way of, you know, positive way of saying that word, and how you guys go after state grants, park grants. I've seen you guys being successful at Oasis, North Shore, and I see how you guys contact our office for that or other things that we may be of support. Is that something that Desert Recreation District will be doing for the city of Indio as other park grants opportunities open up? Or would
Yes.
that be?
I mean, we definitely would like to partner in any way we can to bring much resources as possible. We believe that the more we collaborate, the more opportunity and the chances are increased to receive funding and the resources necessary to, you know, build a strong park system.
Yeah, perfect. Another question, will the fees change? I'm not sure what we're charging to have events at our parks, but are they going to be kept the same if we do move forward? Council decides to move forward with this, or will there be an adjustment of
Well, we're
fees?
going to do kind of an analysis to assess where they are and kind of discuss, are they too high, too low, or just right? And then bring it to the council and staff and allow them to make a decision on what to do with those.
In the next couple of months, they'll be bringing a fee schedule to the city council for approval. And we'll be collaborating with the DRD on what for events and parks for reservations for that.
Perfect. And just for reference, if our residents do want to rent a facility from Desert Recreation, they would contact what the best way would be online or in person?
We have both online and in person. So either way works. Online, you can go in and type in the facility and that information would go to the department that handles the reservations, but either or works.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Troy.
You're welcome.
Commissioner Orty?
Yes, it was a great presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I had one question, but you already answered. So that was that, but it was a great, and it's a great organization. Thank
Well,
you.
thank you.
Yes, Troy, thank you so much. I was actually a child that I guess benefited from Desert Rec. I did gymnastics at the rec center for about 10 years. So I'm well aware of the great things that you all do. I guess my only question is really more for, I don't know, maybe Jim, Scott, the council, just kind of moving forward, that if they go with Desert Rec, what really is our role going forward?
That, you mean the commission role? That'll be defined when we make that decision, when it'll come to us first, and you can ask those questions of Scott. I don't think we're quite there yet, because we're just in the beginning stages of getting a contract and agreements, and the Desert Rec is gonna have to do an assessment of the parks, as Troy had said. So we'll get that back to you and we'll get an answer. Right now, we just don't know that answer yet.
And to answer that, I know we work with the city of Palm Desert, and they do have a community services, a parks commission, and they still function the same. And we kind of attend the meetings, get the input, direction, and, try to provide the services that they are requesting and needed. So in that regard, it doesn't seem like much has changed in terms of how they operate. So whether that be the same here or not, I'm not sure, but that's an example of how it worked.
Thank you so much, everyone. And Jim, do you have anything else? Troy?
That's all I have. Thank you very much, Troy. Appreciate you coming out tonight and giving the commission a presentation. And I know we'll be back with you guys on telling them a little bit more as we go along.
Sounds good. Well, thank you guys, and I look forward.
Thank you.
Perfect. I'd like to bring Scott Trujillo up, our deputy city manager. He's got some things to say about, I think, the presentation that just happened and a couple other things.
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the commission. Scott Trujillo, your deputy city manager. And actually, this is a perfect segue to your question, which is, what is your role moving forward if and when we go with the rec district to run our parks? And I really want to spend my time with you guys tonight to have a real open, honest, and candid conversation, which is the end of it. I always was told never to bury the lead, right? And the lead story here is that we need you guys to take a more meaningful role, not take, but we need to give you a more meaningful role as commissioners. So, and I have a few ideas, but and the reason I say it's a great segue from what Mr. Strange had just presented is that we don't want to take away any responsibilities or duties from the commission. We actually want to give you more. So although they would operate and run the parks, they're still owned by the city and so forth. So the buck stops with the city. So they would first come to the Community Services Commission as things progress, and then ultimately to the council. So and the reason I say candid conversation tonight is I believe after your last commission meeting, it was brought forward, and I won't mention which commissioners and so forth had raised some concerns, which is, the question was, why do we exist? There are these things that are taking place, such as, you're doing a partnership with CUSP to do the Tamale Festival. Why didn't we have a say in that? That was one question. Another was the Dr. Carrion, the artwork. There's Sarbale K. If I butcher that name of that art piece every time, but that art installation. Why weren't you guys kind of consulted on that? And then there were even the parks situation with DRD, and I believe Jim had given some great responses to a couple of those. Some of those were circumstantial. You guys were just dark during the summer when those items came forward, so we moved to action with the city council, and others were, well, let's take the rec district. The timing is prime for them to come before you. So we implemented a quick presentation by the rec district tonight to just kind of plant that seed to say, this is where we're going. But as the agreements start to come forward and get finalized, we'll get them before you for a say, because the questions that the commission asked of the rec district tonight, we want those to continue, and I felt like that was already starting some great dialogue with you guys. So as those questions had come, as Jim and I had this conversation about what is the role of the commission, I asked a few questions. First of all, because you guys I had questions about your format of your meetings, that you receive verbal updates. I don't recall the last time you received a written staff report. And what comes with that would be actually an opportunity for you guys to vote on an item, and hence that recommendation would then go forward to council. So part of it is there haven't really been any items that have called for that type of recommendation. But the other part of it that I want to have our staff own, including me, is the fact that we need to kind of program how we do business when it comes to items in the community services. In other words, it shouldn't always be staff solely making some of these decisions and then updating you. We can bring you guys into that decision-making process. And I think that's where that ownership and that real meaningful role that you guys could play comes in. And I'll give you just a couple examples of kind of shooting from the hip. There was overseeding at the golf course. So Jim had brought forward and he said, the cost for overseeding has nearly doubled. What normally costs, I think, is $15,000 a year to overseed the golf course. It's going to cost us $30,000. What do we do? So Jim's had a couple options he presented and said, we can just move forward with the $15,000 model and just do the greens, fairways, tee boxes, and all the out of bounds play where I play. We wouldn't overseed that. So, or do we just bite the bullet, spend the 30? And so we had this dialogue, right? And to come to that ultimate decision in which I said, you know what, we're going to move forward with the 30. We owe it to our residents to make that golf course look as beautiful as it can be. And the reality is that our play was at an all-time high. So that, I think it was $15,000 that was worthwhile to invest into our community. So, but that would be a conversation to have at the commission level to say, how do we move forward? What do you think the flavor of the community is? Would they want us to spend that? Are we being good stewards of the money for that? Or what are the impacts? That was one. I'm trying to think of another example that, so we really have to plan, again, this kind of reprogramming of staff, kind of plan ahead for some of these decisions to bring forward to you, because the reality is that a lot of these decisions that the staff make are relatively quick, and we need a response back within a few days or even a week. Well, and if the commission's meeting once a month, you can see some of those challenges. But the reality is we can give you guys more ownership as a commission over some of these decisions as it comes to all of our, not only just the golf course, but the parks and teen centers, senior center. So there are two, speaking of the teen center, there are two agreements we're currently working out with Desert Rec District. We're going to have them utilize the facility, activate that space at the teen center during our off hours. That's been a concern of the city council for years, which is, okay, we do a great job programming from, say 2:30 to 7:30, but what are we doing in the mornings? What are we doing on the weekends? It's a great question. So we met with Desert Rec District, and we're going to enter into an agreement. Jim's still finalizing the language in there, but that'd be a great item for us to bring forward to you, and have you give your input on that type of item. So we're hoping to, and perhaps we can bring that. I would like to have that finalized, honestly, before you guys even meet in November. So I'm not sure if that is going to be feasible, but again, that's something that we could have, shoulda, woulda, coulda, right? And so I will take ownership of that. And so that's one. Even if we were to have our staff come in here whether it's a quarterly basis, again, these are just ideas. So we have AJ come in here and give you an update on the senior center. We have Rosalva come in here and give a update on the teen center, because having that dialogue with them is rich and meaningful in and of itself. So we can incorporate those things. Right now, Jim is also working on a new contract with Desert Theater Works. Now some of those deal points, are going to be based upon a city manager decision. But again, we can bring forward those types of things to have, at least if not necessarily have you guys work out the deal points, but at least we can give you updates as to what changes are being implemented there. A women's march. Jim's also working on that. Jim may have a full plate. So, but you kind of get an idea of the different things that are being proposed. So I think that there's so much more. One thing we can do for you in the month of November at your next board meeting, though, is have CUSP, the new entity that's running the Tamale Festival, have them come in here and give you guys kind of a sneak preview of what to expect at the Tamale Festival. I think that would be great. And then come the meeting in December or January, have them also come in here and do a debrief with you guys as to what went well with the Tamale Festival and what we're going to work on for the following year. But again, that input from you guys, that feedback, is what we need to do moving forward. So I just wanted to convey that message to you. I think Fred mentioned the Mountains Conservancy, but the trails, I think it'd be great to bring them in here. Let's see how we can partner with them. Maybe we do a cleanup with them. So we're actually boots on the ground with them. We did a cleanup with them. The city did a few years ago before that trail opened, which I thought was great. But again, you have our commitment as staff to bring more meaningful items forward to the commission moving forward. And again, the one thing I can speak to specifically next month would be CUSP for the Tamale Festival, to give you kind of a new lay of the land. I haven't even seen the new map and layout of the Tamale Fest, so I'm excited to see that. There's more that we can do. I had printed out, I went to our municipal code. Such a boring government guy, right? I mean, this is where I spend my reading. But I looked up in the Community Services Commission and what your guys' role is. And the reality is you're making recommendations to the city council on matters pertaining to park properties, programming, recreation activities, and programming, including those serving youth, seniors, and disabled. And it goes on, right? But we need to bring forth those recommendations to the council so that you operate in the true form of a commission. We want to make your time here meaningful and to show you that we genuinely value your input. And not to say that we haven't, but I do want to bring forward more meaningful, actionable items to the commission in a more timely manner as well. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to share this with you, to speak so candidly with you as a commission. And but I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you, Scott, for coming here and talking about that, because I did have that discussion with Jim, because I just felt like, between even just the three of us that are here right now, that we're very active in our community. And I think we have a lot of knowledge to share. And I feel like maybe it's not always called upon, but I'm glad that that's recognized in it, that moving forward, that we'll all be better, because it's about the residents more than anything. And we just want to do what's good for the city.
Yeah, and Madam Chair, to that point exactly, we just want to let you know that we heard you and we're responding accordingly. It did not fall on deaf ears by any stretch. The conversations that Jim and I have had since then have been very healthy, and we're excited moving forward.
Thank you. Do you guys have anything?
I just want to thank you. And I think this is a great step in for teamwork, basically what you are proposing. And instead of working separately, we can work as a team. And yeah, there's a lot of talent here, and we can learn from each other. and we can contribute to the whole cause. And I agree with Chairperson. Yeah, there is a lot of things we can learn, a lot of things we can actually contribute. So I would just say teamwork. This is the way best to work. Thank you.
I do want to echo their comments. I love this structure as we move forward and we're able to develop this. Again, it'll make better, the third Tuesday. I know I'm looking forward always to the third Tuesday of the month because it's the street sweeping by where I live. So I need to make sure that I move my car out of the street. And I did this morning. I had to run and then I ran and told all my neighbors that still had cars out there, and especially the people that had their cars in front of my house, because I want my part of the street cleaned. But then I also do want to let you know that the staff members that work here on this commission was responsive. We understand that they're busy and that they're doing, already what they're supposed to be doing within their roles, but they are responsive. They'll respond to emails right away for text messages. And then we also do see the difference, or we also do see what they work on after we bring it to their attention. So I do want to commend them. By no means do we want to say that they are not doing what they're supposed to or not listening. They are. So you have great staff. And I see it in action either at, the teen center, the senior center, been able to participate in their events. They've been able to take my daughter to the teen center. I see them in action. I know the love that they have for the city of Indio, the residents. So I do want to express that in public. In our parks, they do great. But yeah, I'm also excited on this new restructure or beefing up our agenda, our role. Thank you.
And I agree with you that the staff are excellent, and it's not a matter of us pointing fingers or doing it. It's just we are being responsive to some concerns that the commission have brought forward, and we're willing to act.
Thank you, everyone. Does anyone have anything else?
I still have my updates to do.
Oh, go ahead, Jim.
I do have a few because some of our commissioners aren't here. I can update I'll go start with the IPAC. The place looks unbelievable. Thank you, Troy. The place looks great. They put a lot of money into revamping the expo hall, the outside big area. It's now called the Main Stage Theater, and it's where they're going to be holding their big musicals like they're doing right now, which is called The Producers. And that opened last weekend. And the reviews that they got on Google, on their website, on the Desert Weekly magazine were just fantastic. People could not believe what it looks like now. It looks like a huge actual theater. When I was watching it being built, I was getting goosebumps just when it was being framed, let alone what it looks like now being done. So most of their big musicals will be happening there. Their big shows, some of their smaller shows, which is the next show called Murder at the Howard Johnson's. It's supposed to be a really funny little play. There's only like 4 people in the show, I think. And that's going to still be in their smaller theater. And then the show after that is the Christmas show called the Winter Wonderettes, and that'll be back into the main stage, the big stage, and then a couple musicals after that will be on the main stage as well. So I encourage you to attend, go see one of their shows. Again, they got huge accolades for what they did there, and it looks great. Those guys are doing a great job. For the Indio Senior Center, they have they've been really busy for sure. A lot of seniors going in and utilizing facilities. They've added a couple of programs. One of the ones I'm excited about are pickleball. It's fun to see. We do it in our dining room. We actually lay out a temporary court for pickleball, and they do it Wednesdays from 9 a.m. to 11. Last week they had about 10 people playing, which is really good, right? It's a tough sport. You got to run a little bit. To see our seniors out there doing it was great to watch, and I participated, hit a couple of them with the pickleballs when I hit it too hard Adam, but it was fun just kind of being out there with them. But they're having a great time for sure. One of the things they have coming up that I want to let everybody know, they're having a pie giveaway on November 22nd on Monday. They are looking for donations for that. You don't actually have to go out and buy a pie. They have a great deal with Food for Less right down the street from the senior center that are giving them a deal on pies. So if you want to donate some cash or a check, they'll get a better deal than you would get if you went to Food for Less or went to Stater Brothers or Ralph's or Albertsons or something to get a pie. So that we're trying to get 500 pies. We're at about 250 now, I think. We're almost halfway there, or a little more actually. And hopefully we'll get to that $500 mark for that. But great programming going on at the senior center. Teen center, the same thing. Programming is awesome. They're very busy. They're averaging about 130 kids a day. That is just fantastic to see them utilizing every part of that teen center right now, outside on the grass, on the basketball courts. They're doing kitchen. They made pancakes today. Usually they bring me some, but I had to leave a little early today for this, so I missed the pancakes. But they usually bring me what they make so I can enjoy it. But their staff's doing a great job there. And we have a new staff member that's going to be starting, I think, next week. And one just left. Our last day is Friday. But the ones we have are doing a great job for sure. The lights, as you had said, were reseating there, but it also got a parking lot upgrade today. They slurried the parking lot today. It needed it. It's been about 7 years since we slurried that last. And then they'll come in tomorrow and they'll seal it, and then they'll stripe it for the parking spaces. So really looking forward to that. And it's going to make that just the impression of coming in. The first impression is going to be great for the lights. And last is special events. You mentioned some, Commissioner Braza, and we have, again, Tamale Festival as we look into the future, December 4th and 5th. We have the Kennel Club of Palm Springs Kennel Show, Kennel Dog Show, first weekend in January. We have the Lacrosse Festival coming back. We have a call with them next week. We have the Southwest Arts Festivals coming after that. So I am getting busy as ever, and it's great to see events coming back. And man, it's exciting to have events coming back for sure. And that's my updates.
Does anyone have anything else? Paul? Anybody?
Paul?
Yeah, right now we're very busy in our park system. It's reseeding time. All the parks are being reseeded. We actually started at Station 87 Dog Park. That was the first one. And we're moving through the system, all of the different parks. The last one that'll be reseeded will be Miles Avenue Park. That'll be on the 27th. Reseeding is generally predicated by tree services. We want to prune our trees. What we do is we do a very detailed inspection of our tree inventory at each park. We look for hazards in trees or trees that just simply need to be pruned for clearance reasons. Got a major at our South Jackson Soccer Park. We just had a lot of different things going on there in regards to maintenances. We just finished pruning all the broadleaf trees there, and we looked at all the different facets of that program, not just appearance, but also for safety. In fact, the number one reason we prune trees is for safety. Any trees that are declined or dying, we do remove them very quickly. And at the soccer park right now, beginning tomorrow, we're doing a relamping of the park. And so going to be over several days. We have a major company coming in. What they do is they go pole to pole to pole there at the park, and they're replacing any lights that'll burn down so we can bring the park up to 100% illumination for soccer play. And so that's pretty much what's going on. The last park will be reseeding this year will be Mulligan Dog Park. We reseed the Station 87 first, and then when it's completed, because the Mulligan is open right now with Station 87 is being reseeded, and then we flip them back and forth. That's one of the nice things about having two parks where we can have one open while the other may be closed for different maintenances. So that's pretty much it. And again, the reseeding also extends into our landscaping and lighting districts. our retention basins, those that we oversee, are being reseeded. But again, the goal is optimum time of overseeding, which is right now, and extending a couple other areas, maybe on a little later for different event reasons.
Thank you, Paul. Lots of good things going on. Does anybody have anything else? Oh, go ahead.
Jim, I have a quick question. Going back to your presentation or update. Does the teen center, do we have any agreements with, and I'm not sure if I've asked this before, with the Desert Sounds Unified School District?
No agreements for them. We do follow their calendar, though, is pretty much how we base when we're open and closed, and the hours that we have at the teen center based on Desert Sands, since Indio High School right across the street. Shadow Hills High School comes down from that. Amistad, we have kids coming from there as well. So we just follow their calendar, but there's no agreements to utilize our facility from them.
Okay, because what came to mind is there were some state dollars that came down to school districts for extended learnings to make up for education loss when they were off for COVID. And I was just wondering, I know that some, not necessarily that school in particular, some schools, but I know that throughout the state, some schools were having issues with actually fulfilling some of the state requirements and having those extended hours. Extended hours could be after school or even before school. And so I was just wondering if we had any type of agreement where maybe we can support the school and have them retain some of those monies and then maybe free up some of ours to use for other stuff there at the teen center.
The teen center, I mean, after school, of course, we're busy with our programs, but before school might be an option. I mean, we do have our pool players that come in there from the senior center to play pool. They go from 9 to noon. But, we could figure something out if they would like to prior to opening of school.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chairperson. Commissioner Ordian, do you have anything else?
No, thank you.
All right, then I will move to adjourn this meeting and I will see everyone on November 16th at 5:30.